Hello everybody, what we're going to look at today is a computer-aided design program called Tinkercad. It's a free-to-use program. What we're going to do is create just a simple model of an everyday object. You can create a profile if you like and have a go following my video step by step. Tinkercad I think of as like a box of Lego, in that you get lots of different bits, digital bits, which you can put together to create different models. Where it's different to Lego is that you can carve bits away from the pieces. So clearly you can't do that with Lego, you can in Tinkercad though. So this is the work plane, this is where all the work happens. Think of this as like a table that you're working on. First thing I'm going to do is get a cylinder. I'm going to place that in about here. Now I want this to be a particular size. I want it to be have a diameter of 80 millimeters. Down here on the right hand side there's something called the snap grid, which you can adjust to lots of different accuracies. I would keep it as 1 millimeter for most things. What I'm going to do is select this corner button here. I'm going to hold shift on my keyboard and click and drag that out until it gets to 80 millimeters. There we go. I'm now going to move that over to the side a little bit, just using the left mouse button, clicking and holding. Now actually I need 2 of these, but that's nice and quick. I press the duplicate and repeat button up here. Nothing really seems to happen, but that's because it makes one in exactly the right same place. So if I pull this outwards, you can see we've got 2 now. The next thing I'm going to do is change the state of this cylinder from a solid to a hole. So now it is a hole. You can see it has this sort of grey stripe effect on it. You can see through it. Think of this as the shape that we can use to carve away some of the material on this cylinder. To do that, I want to align them up correctly, but that's quite difficult to do by hand. There's a nice trick though. First of all, I'm going to shrink this a little bit. So I'll again select the corner button, hold shift, and we're going to go until it's 75 millimeters in diameter, like that. You can see it shrunk the cylinder by 5 millimeters on all sides. To pan around like I'm doing now, you click and hold the right mouse button, and then you can view your model from most angles. So if I try and align these now, it's actually really difficult because the whole cylinder disappears inside the solid cylinder. So to sort that out, what we do is we hold shift and we select both of the shapes together, and we use this tool, the align tool. This makes it very, very easy. First thing I'm going to do is click this button, which aligns them in one axis, and then this button, which aligns them in the second axis. So the whole cylinder now is inside the solid cylinder. The last thing I'm going to do is click this button, which will align both the cylinders at the top. And you can see this sort of weird grey and orange sort of glitch here. That means that the whole cylinder is on the same level as the solid cylinder. Now what we do, in order to carve away the inside of the cylinder, is we click the group button. So when I click this, it combines the shapes, but because one of them is a hole, it removes it. So I've made the first part of a mug here, a coffee mug or a tea mug. So that's all done now. So I'm going to move that out of the way so I've got a bit of space. The next thing we need is the handle. So we go over to the right hand side here, and this is our box of Lego, if you like. So down here there's lots and lots of different types of parts. I'm going to choose a torus, which is like a donut shape. I'm going to put that in position there. Now this is at the wrong orientation. It's lying down on its side, which is no good. We need it to be rotated through 90 degrees. So this little button here rotates, and I'll spin this round until I get to 90 degrees, which I can't do. There we go, 90 degrees. So now that is in the right orientation. Bit of a problem now is that it is sticking down through the work plane. So we use this black cone at the top to bring that up, and I'm going to bring that up until it gets to 0 millimeters, which means it's sitting on the work plane like that. Now I need to make this a little bit bigger. So I'm going to hold shift, I'm going to use the corner button. First of all, I'm going to go out by 7.5 millimeters, and then on the other side, I'm going to go out by 7.5 millimeters as well. So hold shift. Too far already. 7.5 millimeters. Then I spin around from the other side, hold shift. This time I'm going to go up to 15 millimeters. There we go. Okay, so this is now roughly the correct size for the handle of the mug. If I try and merge that in like that, you can see from the outside that it's a little bit low, but it looks okay. But the problem, of course, is that we have the other side of the torus, the other side of the donut, sticking through the side of the mug, and that's obviously ridiculous, so we need to get rid of that. To do that, we're going to use a new shape, which is a box hole. So I put that in position about there, and I'm going to need to use this button here in order to make that into a 30 millimeter wide box. And then I'm going to use this button to bring that up so it definitely covers the full height of the torus like that. We'll then select, holding shift, both the shapes together, and we'll use our align button. I'll make sure first of all that it's aligned centrally, but then I'm going to use this button which will line up the right hand side of the torus with the right hand side of the box hole, like that. Then if I press the group button, it will chop off half of the torus. Okay. The next thing to do is align these for a final time. Something like this, so that that is definitely central. And now I can use the arrow keys to move that into position. Something like that. It doesn't come through the other side. And now I'm going to use this button. This button to move that up about 10 millimeters. Just check that. Can probably go in another millimeter, and there we go. Okay, so there is the finished model. It's nice and simple. Last thing to do, group together, and then you can do things like changing colors wherever you want on there. If you follow this step by step, you should be able to make exactly the same model in exactly the same style. This is a very, very nice and simple one. You will either need to log in with your classroom's login that I will give you, or of course you can just make your own personal account. Thanks very much.